it moves into a place that's very dynamic and alive. And that will of God is a very mysterious thing, because he can never be bound by anything. It's a very dynamic thing and all-encompassing. And those devotees that are, you can say, attuned to that, they're called Raga Marga Bhaktas. That means they're having some internal feeling. Raga means feeling, mood. It's actually a musical term. But the raga in India, it doesn't mean, you might say it can mean a tune, but what it means is a particular feeling that is conveyed by the music. And so a person who is advanced in their love of God, they're moving according to raga. They're moving according to this internal attunement with reality, because they're catching the wave, so to speak. And it's a dancing musical term, a term of mood, but it's just such a deep word, raga. So that's what's described to us. But also, there's an element of what Krishna is getting at here, which is sometimes there's uncertainty. And the uncertainty, what karma yoga is preparing you for is this joyous offering of sacrifice. Because when you're uncertain, like if I don't know what kind of ice cream you like, but I think I'm going to buy you some ice cream, there's some uncertainty in that. And I'm going to be like, well, do you like strawberry? And you're going to be like, strawberry? I don't know. Is that, you see what I'm saying? Right, but I could be like, well, I like strawberry. Maybe she likes strawberry, right? So I'm going to buy you strawberry, and then you're going to be like, thanks, right? And maybe you want chocolate. But like my mood is not going to be like, I just spent all this time getting you. No, my mood is like, oh, here's chocolate, right? That kind of mood in your service where you're offering it purely as a sacrifice to the beloved, and whether it's accepted or rejected, you just dance with that and then make another sacrifice. That idea is love, right? If I love you, I'm just going to be like, oh, do you want chocolate? Right? Not going to be like, oh my God, I just spent all that money on this strawberry, and now I got to go all the way back to the store. And, like none of that. So there is a motion, like a delightful motion of sacrifice in the hearts of the devotees that can operate in uncertainty and give always. Right. You don't always know, and that is what creates the platform for sacrifice. If you know, it's not really sacrifice, right? It's like math almost, right? So there has to be an element of the unknown to create the platform for sacrifice. And sacrifice is love, actually. That's the expression of love. You've heard the expression, love is something you do, right? So the sacrifice for the beloved is the expression of love. And sometimes uncertainty is a part of that dance, right? I'm going to do something so with all my heart for you, and maybe it's not exactly right. And if it's not, I'm going to happily do whatever else it is, like that kind of thing. And that type of mood from the devotee to the Lord is very, very sweet and attractive and dynamic. Because also the devotees are making, they're expressing their individuality in their sacrifices. And the Lord is finding that very tasteful. So, anyways, these are deeper things. But ultimately, there's some mood and some feeling that comes, but also there's uncertainty that comes, right? And that's the field of actual life.
And I think also, like at the point of uncertainty, you try to understand what is your Guru's direction. If you can't hear it directly, But then based on faith, you go forward and try to accept it. You know, knowing that the real standard is not the external structure of things, but rather it's the internal motivation. So if I try, even if I make a mistake, my guru will protect me and show me the right way. I don't know if that's clear or not.
And the environment is also doing that, because the whole of existence is under him, under the Lord. So what we're trying to offer, there will be reciprocation, and there will be adjustment according to that, and it'll come from around us, because ultimately we have Krishna consciousness mean. He is the cause of all causes. His divine will is the sweetness of existence, and the reason we're not feeling that sweetness of existence is because we are imposing our own prejudiced will onto our circumstances. So the devotee, the great Vaishnavas, they're always seeing some sweetness behind everything that comes to them, and adjusting and reciprocating. What is my seva now? And so they're always dancing. They have no fear whatsoever of any outcome.
Hardy, do you want to like pull up that little amazing clip that you made about acting without attachment?
Yeah.
I mean, maybe we could just pass it around the room. It's very cool. It's like this idea of trying to like capture, you know, this karma yoga leading to bhakti. I made this little clip. Hardy made this cool little clip. I mean, you guys can take a look at it. I just think it's really cool. Like it's like this way of living that's so cool.
Okay, so should we pull it up right now?
Yeah, man. Let's pull it up.
Just the audio, right?
Huh?
The audio?
Sure, you can do the audio also.
Because to the video would be kind of. Oh, you know.
You can just put it on.
Set it in the center or something.
Yeah. Okay. Un momento.
We're just making an attempt to try to like get this out to the world of like this conflict. Oh, well, okay. Not with me on the audio. The other one.
Oh, not this one?
No, the other one.
Oh,
the
the
other.
first one, the one that
The
is-
first one, yeah. I don't want to hear myself. I'll tell you that.
Do you want me to get it?
What was that?
That little brown and white stool there, would that be handy, or no?
No, it's fine. So, I'm just going to show it to every
Yeah,
single
yeah,
one
yeah.
of us because everyone doesn't, no one speaks. Maharaj.
You can turn the sound on?
The sound?
Can we all see it at the same time? No?
Is it,
It's probably not big enough.
okay, so I guess this one.
You can read.
Yeah. So it says, it's a great gift in life to feel uncertainty, because now you must mine the most valuable substance in reality, sacrifice. And then there's just one guy.
No, I mean that's a cool clip. But I was thinking of the other one with the Roman.
The
like-
Roman? Oh, the Roman guy, there's your
Yeah.
voice in it. Then it was.
Okay, fine. Just do the voice because I just think that's cool.
Where it says love has no other meaning other than sacrifice. It means I'm going to give everything to my beloved and I don't know what I'll get back. So when you're feeling these uncertainties in life, you have to offer into it. You have to sacrifice into it. You have to be willing to give your energy, your time, your effort, your best offering that you can come up with, and maybe it turns into ashes. Are you willing to do that? That's why there's a practice of a sacrifice, where you take the ghee and you take these beautiful objects and you offer them into a fire. Why? Because you have to learn how to give what's valuable within yourself and what's actually ultimately valuable in you. It's your intention. Kumar says love has no other meaning other than sacrifice.
So we'll send the video if you guys want to see like more closely. But yeah, that's the message.
The visual you made though, I think is really cool. Yeah.
There's this one song that I heard from Krishnananda. It's a blues song, southern blues song. And one of the lines that I really liked was that I have learned that I must kneel to fight. So I like that because it is in humility that we will fight the proper fight, kneeling to the Lord's will. I thought that was really beautiful. Hare Krishna. We're in chapter number 4, right? Chapter 4, that's page 69, I guess. Should we go on, Sudha? Jaya Shri Bhagavad Gita
Okay. All right, Jnana Yoga. So that's the basis, right? We have Karma Yoga as the basis of, remember, these yogas, they become deeper, right? There's a whole rich, wonderful culture of going deeper, right? Starting with pranayama. And from pranayama, you understand Kundalini, you understand the energy centers within your body. From Kundalini, you can actually move to Dhyana Yoga, which is real meditation. Et cetera. It goes. But moving from external to internal, from more gross vibrations to more subtle vibrations. But Krishna starts Bhagavad Gita already with the deepest yoga. It's all internal yoga in the end. You're learning how to orient your consciousness in relationship with reality. Okay, so the second chapter of the second yoga chapter is Jnana Yoga. Okay.
Page 70, right?
Page 70. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Imam Vivaspate Yogam Proktavanaham Avyayam Vivasvan Manave Praha Manurikshvakave Bravid Evam Parampara Praptam Imam Rajarshayo Vidu Sakale Neha Mahata Yogo Nyashta Parantapa Sa Evayam Maya Tedya Yoga Prokta Puratana Bhakto Si Me Sakha Cheti Rahasyam Hyetadutamam. Arjuna.
Verse 1. The Supreme Lord said, I imparted this imperishable knowledge, this imperishable yoga of knowledge achieved by selfless action to Surya, the presiding deity of the sun. Surya taught it to his son, Vaivasvata Manu, who passed it on to his son, Ikshvaku, O conqueror of the enemy. Thus the saintly kings, such as Nimi, Janaka, and others, learned this yoga, which was passed down to them by disciplic succession. But in the course of time, the teaching has been lost. 3 too, right? As you are my devotee and friend, I now reveal to you this supreme secret, the eternal yoga. What secret? Rahasyam? Is a secret.
Okay. Then Arjuna says, Arjuna Vacha.
sarvani na tvang vita parantava ajopi sunyayatma bhutanam ishvaropi san prakritim samadishya swayam bhavyatma mayaya.
Arjuna said, Vivasvan, the sun god, was born in ancient times, long before you were. Therefore, how am I to consider that you previously gave these teachings to him? The Supreme Lord said, O chastiser of the enemy, both through many births, I can remember all of them, whereas you, O Arjuna, cannot. Although my eternal form is transcendental to birth and death, and I am the Lord of all beings, I appear within the world in my divine nature by my sweet will, extending my internal potency. 7, very important verse. Yada yada hi dharmasya glanirvati bharata abhyutanam adharmasya tadatmanam sriyajanam paritrahya sadhanam vinashaya chadushkritam dharma samsthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge janma karma chame divyam evam yogi tattvatah tyakva deham punarjanma naiti mameti sorjuna.
O Bharata, whenever there is a decline of religion and an uprising of irreligion, I personally make my advent. I appear age after age to deliver the saintly devotees, to vanquish the miscreants, and firmly establish true religion. O Arjuna, one who comes to know thus the truth of my pastimes of divine birth and activities does not undergo rebirth. After giving up this body, he attains me. My grace is revealed to him as my personal, transcendental, joyful potency, Hladini Shakti. His heart is melted in divine love, and he attains my eternal devotional service.
Krishna saying, always by the nature of this world, the teachings are lost. The real truth is obscured by so many things. Some type of delusion, fundamentalism, atheism, all these things are always creeping, and by that influence, truth is lost. So Krishna says, again and again I reappear and establish the truth.
Arjuna is like forgetful of this in the moment, right? Like he knows this, he's just forgetful of it, right?
Yeah.
It's the Leela, so it's not really, but.
Oh, okay. Oh, even still. Well, like Arjuna knows Krishna to be the Supreme Lord.
Yeah. He says that to Krishna, but there's that mysterious potency, yogamaya potency, by which Mother Yashoda can look inside Krishna and see the entire universe in his mouth. Right when he eats dirt, she's like, "Okay, that's it. Open your mouth." Like him get. And then she looks at his mouth, and there's like the whole universe is there. That's one of the pastimes. And then she's just like, "Is my son Vishnu?" And then, he closes his mouth.
The cat makes a noise, and Krishna starts to cry, and she goes, "Oh, it's okay." Forgets all about it.
It's just the way. Then the cat goes, comes around and goes, "Meow," and she's just like, "Whoa!" And starts crying. She's like, "Oh, my baby." Okay, 10 and 11. This is very important. Again, this phrase over and over, we have to recognize this and start to feel these things within ourselves. What is this mysterious trio of patterns that we have running? Vitaraga, Bhaya, Krodha, those are the three. Vitaraga, Bhaya, and Krodha, which mean no looking. Krishna says these three in a row.
Attachment.
Many. Vitaraga means attachment.
Fear.
Bhaya means fear.
And
Krodha means anger. Attachment, fear, and anger. And they all go together. Once you're attached, you become fearful and you become angry. Okay. Vitaraga, Bhaya, Krodha.
Manmaya Mavapashita Bhavo Jnanatapasa Buddhaman Bhavamagata Yedita Brahm Prabhajante Tam Sataiva Bhajamyaham Mahavad Manuvatante Manusya Bhata Sarvasaha.
Oh Bharata, whenever there's
Number 10.
number 10, thank you. Free from attachment, fear, and anger, many persons have taken shelter in me, absorbing their hearts in my services, hearing, chanting, and remembering. Purified by knowledge and the fire of ordeal in my service, they attained divine love for me. Howsoever people surrender to me, I accordingly reward them. Being the ultimate goal of all paths, I am the objective to be attained by all. O Partha, all men follow my various paths.
So this is an elaboration of what Krishna said in the beginning. There's one spectrum, which is the seeking of truth, and that's called Buddhi Yoga. And every single path that exists that has some authenticity of progressive life is within the path of Buddhi Yoga, and all of them ultimately are leading to Krishna. Okay. Number 12. Kam Shanta Karmanam Siddhin Yajanta Idevata Kshipram Hi Manusya Loke Siddhir Bhavati Karmaja Chaturvarnyam Maya Srishtam Gunakarma Vibhagasaha Tasya Bhaktaramam Imam Vidyakartaramam Yayam Namam Karanilim Pandi Name Karma Paleshpriya Iti Ham Yogajanati Karma Virna Sabhajate.
Persons who desire the fruit of their actions worship the gods, since in the human plane actions swiftly bear fruit. The four social divisions, classified according to the material modes of nature and corresponding activities, are made manifest by me. Although I am the doer of this, know me to be the non-doer and unchangeable. I am never implicated by action, nor do I desire the fruits of action. One who knows me thus, as the Supreme Lord, transcendental to worldly action, is never bound by action.
I think this about the four social divisions in society, like Brahman, the intellectuals, Kshatriyas, the warriors and the administrators, Vaishyas, the business people, the farmers, Shudras, the people who work. There's these four divisions that Krishna made, and they're indicated in the scriptures. But also, if you look at every society, in the world, it's also divided in that way. Whether they're trying to run the society by capitalism or communism or socialism or whatever, still there's always a division. There's the people who have some intelligence. There's the people who are controlling the society through either like martial strength or control, and there's the people who are like businessmen, farmers, and also the people who are laborers. And the wonderful thing about Krishna consciousness is it acknowledges these divisions. At the same time, we receive the understanding from Krishna that it really doesn't matter. I think it'll come to this eventually. That it really doesn't matter what division you're in, high or low. The person who is in the Shudra position, the worker position, he may be higher than the Brahmin, the intellectual, if he performs his activities for me, Krishna says. So the division is there. It's a natural division. And, in Krishna consciousness, we learn to understand things in that way and learn to understand how the whole function of the world as we see it, ultimately there's Krishna's hand behind everything. Ultimately the whole structure of existence depends on Krishna. And, this can be seen in the divisions of society that are everywhere.
Jaya. Thank you, Maharaj. And that's the key principle that Krishna is going to elaborate. And 15. Evam gyatva kritam karma purvairapi mukshubhi guru tasmatum purvai purvataram kritam kim karma kim karmeti kavayopya pramohita tatte karma pravakshami yajyatva mokshase shubhat karmano yapi bodhavyam cha vikarmana akarmascha bodhavyam gana Shivji.
Knowing this basic principle, seekers of liberation in previous times renounced all fruitive work and performed their duties as a selfless offering to me. Likewise, you should adopt this yoga of selfless action as did the great saintly persons of yore. What is action? What is inaction? Even the learned have difficulty understanding this. Hence I shall enlighten you in this matter, knowing which you will liberated from inauspiciousness.
One more.
Can read 17 also.
The true nature of action is difficult to comprehend. One should understand prescribed action, prohibited action, and inaction.
Okay. Very profound topic. This is not discussed anywhere. Like, well, maybe it is somewhere, but I've read a lot of philosophy and I've never seen anybody go, what is action? Okay. 18, 19, and 20. Karmanya karmaya pashyed akarmani cha karmaya sabuddhiman manuseshu sayukta krishna karma krit yasya sarve samarambha kama sankalpa varjitaha jnanagni dagdha karmanam tam ahu panditam buddha tyaktva karma phala sangam nityatrito nirashrayah karmanyabhi pravrittopi naiva kinchit karoti saha.
One who sees action within inaction and inaction within action is wise among men. He is a yogi and a performer of all actions. One whose every action is without fruitive desire and who burns all actions in the fire of knowledge is described by the wise as learned. Such a person, giving up attachment to the fruits of action, fully content in the eternal bliss within and free from mundane dependence, though fully active, does nothing at all.
Hare Krishna.
That's what
Everyone
18
got that? Great. Okay, moving on.
Well, let's talk about 18 for a minute.
I'm just
Um,
kidding.
Action within action. So that means the standard is acting for God or acting for Krishna. So if you don't do anything, you don't render any service, that's an activity itself. It's going to bind you. And inaction within action means that if you're doing work, normal work, but you're doing it for Krishna, there's no karmic consequences. So there's inaction in action. And, seeing things in that way, the yogi understands how the world works and, how Krishna or God is behind everything.
Yeah, I think these are very difficult to translate in English because in Sanskrit there's a richness to the language. There's meaning embedded in the word karma that is not so easy to translate into one word. So for example, karma means action, and as we all know in the West, it's almost exclusively used to mean reaction. So karma means action and it means reaction. So when Krishna's saying there's no karma within an action, or there's no karma within a non-action, he's saying if you're acting properly, just as Maharaj was saying, if you're acting properly, there's no reaction, right? And even if you're not acting, but your intentions are all messed up, you're still acting, and then there's reaction, right? So you can bind yourself up and literally not be able to move your body, and you can still be creating karma. Or you can be completely active with your body and have no reactions because everything you're doing is just an offering.
Because choosing not to do something is a different set of muscles that are actually restricted.
It's exactly
right? So like if I say I'm going to sit on the couch for the next 20 years because I'm not going to be dealing with all the action that's going on.
That's still an
There's
action.
still repercussions for that. But then it's even deeper than that because it's kind of alluding to the intention, which I think is like something that Sridhar has been honing in on the more and more and more we read Bhagavad Gita, that there is this very internal dialogue that's occurring with all action. And that internal dialogue is vitally, viscerally, critically important to what's occurring, right? So like the washing of the floor in like bitterness and rage, is very different than the like extreme gratitude of the moment of trying to offer to wash the floor, right? And so that's also like another layer that can like be starting to happen in the world of action is there's actually a very subtle vibration that's occurring as we're quote unquote doing all of these things.
Yeah.
And that subtle vibration is ultimately carrying you places and reacting with other vibrations in the environment, right? And it can become to the point that it's like, certain faiths are even going to hyper focus on those particular mentalities, right? Like it's going to say like, don't be prideful, don't be angry, don't be this, because that vibration in your consciousness is so dangerously covering your perception of reality. And so it's very important, this idea of like, what is action? What's the intention that's like populating that action? What's my relationship with this thing? It's just an amazing thing because there is such a like mindless obsession with being busy. Maybe it keeps the mind a little quieter in some sense, but it's just like that is not the goal of this civilization, right? Like I actually love verse 15, by the way. It's so cool. It's like, follow those people in the past who were badasses, who freaking did things and offered them up in the sacrifice. Like that's what the saints did. And when you think about it, this is 5,000 years ago. So like, who were those people that he's alluding to that are just like, yeah, that's what people did. Don't forget it. Which is like a huge part of scripture in a sense. Is like, don't forget, amazing people have existed. and they offered things into the fire of self-sacrifice, and we worship them and hope that that kind of consciousness overtakes us, not some kind of mindless activity, you know, like resentful bot that like runs around until like the battery's out of juice, you know. And if you're starting like to go like, oh, this is such a sophisticated world to kind of meditate upon, it's really nice.
And one of the key points is in verse 20 where Krishna says, fully content in the eternal bliss within.
Yeah.
Because our animalistic mind believes that if we're in a particular circumstance and we're doing some kind of activity and we don't get a result, then we're going to be unhappy. Bhaktivinoda Thakur also says an amazing line in Atmanivedana where he says, Seva sukha dukkha parama sampada nashaya vidya dukkha. There's a very deep concept which is so fundamental. Guru Maharaj, you could say, basically writes subjective evolution to reach this point, or the book is compiled of all these times Guru Maharaj is making all these points from so many angles to basically reach this conclusion, which is how you feel inside is completely independent of the outside. And to really grasp this, that you can offer everything and independence of the results, you can be in bliss. That's an important thing to understand, because our animalistic mind is going, no, 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 I need to have it like this, otherwise I'm not going to be happy. And that is not true. So when Krishna is saying, I mean, he's going to say this later, but he also says it now, burn your actions in the fire of knowledge. It means know this, understand this, and in that way, your actions, your karma, I think the word is karmani, right? Jnanagni dagda karmanam. Your karma is burned by having this awareness. Use your intelligence, fill it with this awareness as you act within your life. Because there's something deeper happening. You are independent of what's going on outside as you go inside. And that's the general motion away from Bahiranga toward Antaranga Shakti. You got to go inside and stop only finding your satisfaction, your prospect, all your attachments on the outside.
Yeah.
Very important, because everybody wants freedom, but generally that means I'm free to get what I want, the way I want.
Yep.
And that is the opposite of freedom. It's like a person who thinks if I can get heroin every day, then I'm free. It's absolute addiction to all kinds of things that are totally unnecessary for the soul. And this, but the fact is that we have to try. We have to really try to surrender to the things that come to us, and knowing that they're coming from the Lord, and bowing down and seeing that the Lord's purpose is making me free from the things that I thought were bothering me. But it was me that was bothering me. It's my miscalculation that's bothering me, and the Lord can completely remove that simply by bowing down and surrendering to the very thing that is happening at any given moment.
Jaya. So, Krishna's talking about in this chapter, what's this chapter called? Jnana Yoga. That means you're using your knowledge faculty in yoga. And you can say this is kind of like a core verse within this chapter, which is saying, this is Jnana Yoga. Fill your knowledge capacity, your intelligence, with this understanding as you act within the world. That's Jnana Yoga. And then Krishna's going to, like in the next couple pages, he's going to say, the ladles, Brahman, everything is ultimately divine energy. Okay, so,
Can I say something?
yes, Prabhu, please.
I just wanted to say, like surrender is another one of those words that like doesn't translate very, like
Yes.
Sharanagati to surrender. Like it's not like just lay down to the situation, right? Like when we're talking about like surrender to the situation,
Yes.
and like
To him.
like I think about like later on, Krishna talks about like the Muni is silent, right? But like Narada Muni, like like this is like action in action, right? Like Narada Muni is like zipping around the universe and like causing like disruptions on a material level, you know, right? Like a social material level, but like
Advancing the play.
yeah, advancing the play, but not causing any karmic disruption, right? And so I just want to bring that because it's not like surrender to the moment means like
Go
okay, I'm
limp.
not gonna act in this moment.
Limp noodle, yeah.
Yeah, right. It's
Yeah.
like a surrender, like contribute, like whatever you have to contribute to the moment. And sometimes that could be like, you know, very chaotic or violent on the material plane, right?
Beautiful point, Jaya. Makes me want to like play another clip I saw today by Haridave's Mercy of Jaya spitting some knowledge. Actually, have you seen that? Have you seen this yet?
I haven't.
Oh, it's kind of like actually your point on Sharanagati, to be
Yeah,
honest.
Saranagati also must always involve service. Because it is now, you have brought this circumstance to me, my Lord, I bow down to that. What is my seva? What are you showing me? How am I to proceed? How is this moment drawing something from me for your to serve your will? It's always, we don't even know what that's going to be. Because, you know, that has, we're dealing with the infinite. We really can't. It's like, if I surrender, then this is going to happen, and then that's going to be really bad, and we have no idea what he's trying to show us, actually, and what kind of service that will draw from us.
Hare Krishna.
Stepping toward the infinite.
I think Jardin's point is it's the number one point of resistance that people have to the word surrender. And it's actually a conundrum to some extent because there's a tremendous amount of risk involved with trying to become a Sharanagata, so to speak, right? We want to become Sharanagatas. That's like what we're trying to become, right? So the risk is, am I doing something that's surrendered? Now you start to understand some of these kirtans that are saying like, I want to try and become a devotee. And if you want to proceed towards trying to serve the infinite, there's risk involved. Because how do I know what the infinite source of reality is demanding, right? And so then it's calling us to become authentic, it's calling us to be sincere. And what is like the main question, right? This is one chapter of a massive book. There's a reason that the war happens, right? There's a lot of events that like lead up to this war. And all of these people are extremely erudite. And what they're constantly asking is, what are we supposed to do in this situation, right? And many times they are not going to war, right? And they're being assaulted, right? The Pandavas, like Arjuna and his brothers, are getting assaulted, and they don't want to go to war. So they're doing everything over and over. It's over like 30 years that we're going through the story of the Pandavas, where they're avoiding war. It's not like it was just like, oh, our cousins are annoying. Let's rip apart the whole like world as we know it. So it's very interesting that over and over, every character is being forced into this like incredibly uncomfortable situation, and they're praying so sincerely. What should I do? What should I do? And really, that's going to come up in our lives, right? What should I do? It's like the ultimate question where you're going like, okay, well, I could, there's whatever. Maybe it's a ton of options. Maybe it's only a few. And as we just went, there is a choice to just try and lay on the couch, right? And then we can call that with a label, like with a stamp, a lazy stamp, so to speak, surrender.
Yeah.
And so we're asked to actually become participants in our spiritual life, right? And to dive deeper and deeper into like what does it mean that it's the only communication that's possible with the upper world, right? Like why is humility means being open to infinite possibility. It means like the Lord's will is overwhelming me, and I see like 3 possibilities, and I don't know what he's calling forth for me. But I have so much trust that there's an affectionate source to reality that I'm going to try and reciprocate with that trusting, loving Lord. and offer something to this situation, knowing that my offering is not only faulty, but what will come back to me will be grace. And this type of interaction with the infinite is super exciting ultimately. And it becomes addictive, actually, to people that are like true sadhus, where it's like a life without sacrifice and surrender is like that's where you get Bhagavad Gita. It's like, I don't want to be a Brahma. Like, I don't want to be like a universal creator dude. I'd rather be like a worm if I'm angled towards you, right? And that's where like this poetry, it's not just like this like flowery words. They're very serious. Like, let my affection grow towards you day by day. Let my love for your name increase. Like, those are the things that I care about. You want to put me in heaven or hell, you want to put me in the body of a bird or a beast, okay, like, you know what's good for me. I just want to become yours, right? And so it's like this very, like, deep world that's actually going. And they're not just like, oh, Krishna wants me to go to hell, now I'm depressed. It's like, that's where the Lord wants me to go. And then we hear, very amazingly, stories of people who are in the dregs of hell, right? And they're having, what? Progress towards the Lord. Very cool people. That's what the Bhagavatam's full of. That's what these scriptures are full of. And you're going like, oh, because there's nowhere he's not, right? Even the story of like Vamanadev with Bali Maharaj. He's the king of the demons. And Bali Maharaj comes, Vamanadev is an incarnation of the Lord where he comes as like a dwarf Brahmin. And in that particular society, the king of the world, when they do a sacrifice, they give to the Brahmins. Right? So this very short statured person walks up, and he's, of course, because he's the Lord, it's very beautiful. And Bali Maharaj sees him like kind of walking onto this like arena where they're doing this massive sacrifice. And no words even pass. He like immediately falls in love with the Lord. Like he's just like, oh my God, like it's like all of your prayers have like somehow or other manifested like your eyesight in seeing something. And the guru of the demons, Shukracharya, he's the advisor to the king, right? He's a very, very powerful personality, by the way, like really no one to be trifled with. And he immediately senses, and he was just like, Bali Maharaj, like, that person is not who he says he is, like, about the Lord. And, like, you know, be very careful on this interaction. Like, this is very unstable for us, right? Because, like, if you think about it, like, a demonic mentality, sort of like, we need to colonize, we need to, like, control, and, like, we're kind of, like, keeping things, like, the status quo needs to be steady. You know? And Vamanadev, like, walks up, and Bali Maharaj, like, responds to Shukracharya, much to Shukracharya's, like, dismay and distress. Like, I don't really care. You know what I mean? Like, because when you fall in love finally, like, it doesn't really matter about anything else. That's what the Bhakti Yogis are starting to talk about. Like, do you get it? Like, nothing else actually matters than this feeling of love that you can have, right? Like, whether it's kingdoms or non-kingdoms or heaven or hell, like, that doesn't matter. So
it's
then,
like, be careful. The Shukracharya is just like, be careful. He can take everything. Dude, just
like, be very careful with
don't say anything. Just look at me. Just don't say anything.
And it's funny.
And Bali Maharaj is just like, dude, do you understand? I love him. I don't care what you're saying.
And like, Shukracharya is just like all the plans and like, you know, how many generations and like, you know, this is not like an accidental sacrifice that's manifested, right? It's just like, and he's just like, oh, like, need to control. And what's very interesting is, so then Vamanadev walks up to Bali Maharaj and he says, my dear Brahmin, what can I give you?
Yeah.
You know, like what is in your heart's desire? What can I give you? This is like the nature of like a real king. He has to give to like the people that are you know, his constituents. And Vamanadev is just like, I don't really need much. I just need like 3 steps of land, right?
Enough to lie down on.
You know, just and then like, you know, Bali Maharaj is like, you know, it's like almost offensive. Like, I'm a king. You think all I can give you is three steps? Like, come on, man.
You get to plan it.
Yeah, can literally give you, you know, it's just like, you know, this is like, I'm a king. Like, you ask king for kingly stuff. Like, ask me for something. Like, oh, I have no desires. Pretty peaceful, but I'd like 3 steps.
Shukracharya's like, don't do it.
And then Shukracharya is just saying, like, whatever you do not agree to 3 steps or 0 steps or whatever it is. Like, you need to get clear on this, like, whole process. And, like, Bali Maharaj is, like, literally ignoring him.
Bali Maharaj says, I've already promised it. He said, no, look, I know the scriptures. I can get
You're like,
around
you can
it.
find a
I can
loophole.
fix this."
Like, he's like, I'm sure there's like some Veda with a verse, you know, like where we can like, you know, pursue like, you know, this kind
We
of
can
fancy-
still back out of this.
Yeah.
It'll be dharmic.
Yeah, exactly. There's small type here. I know there's small type. So there's this like background interaction between like, you know, this priest and the king, and then this like boy and the king, all kind of happening. And there's this massive like fire yagya and all these like people that are witnessing the situation. Anyways, it culminates after some more drama in him getting 3 steps of land. And of course, Vamanadev, which you know the Lord, he just has some twist on humor. Like, why does he have to come as a dwarf? He could have come in any size and it still would have been surprising, right? But he comes as a dwarf, and then he like mystically expands, and in like 1 step, it's
bottom of the universe.
yeah, it's like the lower half of the universe. The second step, like the entire galaxy,
The
is
entire universe.
like universe, like everything is.
And he
Take
says,
it.
oh, you promised me 3 steps, so
So where's the third
where's
step
the
going to go?
3rd step? I already
Right.
covered the whole universe.
He's like, I already have everything now in 2
What, are you
steps.
cheating me now?
And then like Balimarj, he offers his obeisances and he says, step on my head. And that's the 3rd step. Such a like cool story. But the main thing I was getting towards is, then after this whole pastime, he loses his place on Earth. All of his like conquest of like these upper planets is gone. But then he's so in love with Balimarj because also Vamanadev is having his own interaction with Balimarj. That's the other thing, is it's not just this superficial moment at this sacrifice. He's also recognizing that the king is reciprocating with him. And so he says, okay, you can ask me actually for some kind of boon, because I'm actually the Lord and you're just like a little king, you know, like, and like, I want to reciprocate with you. And Balimarj answers, he goes, I want to worship you. That's what I want. And so then Balimarj, where he goes, but you can't stay here. Vamana says, you're actually like the king of the demons. This isn't your planet, right? Because there's like, Earth is sort of like a middle zone, and there's like different beings that live in different areas, and they kind of overtake Earth sometimes, periodically, with alarming regularity. That's another thing. But anyways, like this whole like light and dark thing is kind of like an endless, you know, whether it's internal or external, this is all going on. But then he goes, you can't stay here exactly on this planet. It's kind of why I came. But I will go with you. And so Balimarj is worshiping Vamanadev to this day, right? And you're going like, so there's this world of the heart that is so much deeper than the like getting of stuff. And that's why he's saying, look at what these saints of yore did. They were fully active and they offered into this ocean, this world of self-sacrifice, and look what they tasted. And don't forget that. And that's really like the beginning of like this world of Sharanagati. But Sharanagati is happening in the middle of this fire sacrifice, in the middle of this heart interaction with the king. This is not a like passive moment on anyone's behavior, and is ultimately, what is it doing? It's bringing about even more feeling, right? It's not like super exciting if like Vamanadev walks up, Balimarj offers obeisances, everyone goes, yay! Like there's like some feeling where everyone's navigating this circumstance, and then it has its expression that's even more beautiful, right? Its expression's more valuable when the drama is like getting heightened, because it's pulling out the glory of that person's surrender that's inside of them. The circumstance is revealing what is inside of that heart of that person. We don't get the chance to see it until like, you know, the heat on the stove is getting hot. So anyways, I think it's like a very important conversation in the sense that we have to be so cautious and careful, and also like offer something, right? Because we're like, oh, I want to be a surrendered soul, like whatever you want, Lord, I'll be right here. If you can drag me along, it'd be great. Which we do kind of pray also, but also that's offer. So anyway,
We
Thank
have
you, Ray.
such a small little, I'm sorry, I know that we want to keep
We're
reading,
just,
but just provincial idea of what things should be. But by surrender to the Lord, we see just how exciting and astonishing the Lord's pastimes are.
Jaya. And that is the, you can say, the fruit of all knowledge, actually. So, important, because Krishna's about to go, we have 3 more verses, and then Krishna's going to go into these descriptions of sacrifice. But in verse 19, he describes Jnanagni Dagda Karmanam. And that means sacrifice, right? Jnana Yoga means fill your knowledge, fill your intention, fill your intelligence with this desire to offer your actions as a sacrifice. And then there will be some internal feeling that is surpassing the external thing, as this beautiful story is showing. Okay, so 21, 22, 23, and then I think we can break for, it's a good moment in the chapter to break, because the rest of the chapter is also very amazing as Krishna talks about how do people implement this principle of sacrifice. Okay, 21. Nirashir yata chittatma tyakta sarva parigraha shariram kevalam karma kurvanatnoti kilbisham yadrichcha labha santushto dvanvatito vimatsara samasiddha siddhaucha kritva nibadhyate. Okay, Marsh, please. 21.
Desireless, controlling mind and body by the intelligence, renouncing all possessiveness and acquisition. No sinful or pious reaction is incurred by such a person, who may act to acquire mundane objects merely for his bodily substance. Okay. Content with whatever is readily available and unaffected by dualities of pleasure and pain, attraction and aversion. Such a person has no envy. He is equipoised, neither elated nor dejected in success or failure. Though active, he is not bound by any action.
Jaya. Very beautiful idea of existence. And this is not fantasy. This is actually a way to live. Gata sangasya muktasya jnanavasthita cetasa yagyaya charata karma samagram praviliyate. For one who is detached, enlightened and liberated, all his actions performed in the spirit of sacrifice are perfectly dissipated. So what does that mean? There is no reaction. Now there's a particular philosophy that is not existing in the West, but it's an important point to distinguish because a lot of philosophy that appeared in India is far more sophisticated and is debating deeper topics. But this is one philosophy called Karma Mimamsaka. And there's some commentary by Guru Maharaj to very much clarify and distinguish what Krishna is saying in this verse. The actions of one practicing the yoga of selfless action do not lead to apurva, as considered by the philosophers known as Karma Mimamsaka. According to their ethical yet atheistic ideology, the Karma Mimamsakas, or mundane rationalists, claim that pious actions produce an unseen, subtle potency known as apurva, which must fructify at the appropriate time after death. Their conception that this fruit can later be shared by others is meant to show the eternality of karma, or action, but it ignores the presence of the supreme autocrat, in other words, God. So the statement of Sri Krishna, samagram pravidiyate, all actions are dissipated, ought not be misinterpreted to mean that the actions of liberated souls cause some such remote worldly consequence, or apurva. Rather, the Lord indicates that the actions offered to him by the selfless karma yogi do not cause any subsequent reaction, to be either enjoyed or suffered by others in this mundane plane. So the Karma Mimamsakas are essentially saying all action within reality has to have a reaction. Whether it comes to that person who performed the action or not, the reaction is going to exist, period. And this clarification is saying that no, that action which is not done with improper intention, which is done as yoga, does not have a reaction that must occur. And that's an important clarification, because it means ultimately that matter is not what's defining reality. Consciousness is, which is again a fundamental point again and again in the scripture. You have to understand, matter is not fundamental. Consciousness is fundamental. Matter is derivative. It is not that matter is fundamental and consciousness is a derivative. And the Karma Mimamsakas are essentially saying matter is fundamental. All right, so Hare Krishna. Okay, Jai Shri Krishna Arjuna Ki Jai. This next part is quite beautiful and amazing. Shri Krishna go through all the ways of offering sacrifice to him. Jai Bhagavad Gita Ki Jai. Jai Shri Kurukshetra Dham Ki Jai. And all the devotees reading Bhagavad Gita tonight Ki Jai. Nitai Go Premanande. Hari Hari Bol. And Jai Shabbat Bhakti Sridhar Maharaj Ki Jai. Okay, very quick. Hari Haraya Namo Krishna. Hari Haraya Namo Krishna. Yadavaya Namo. Hari Haraya Namo Krishna. Yadavaya Namo. Srila Bhakti Rakshaka Sridhar Maharaja ki Jai. Jai Srila Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada ki Jai. Rupan Guru Varga ki Jai. Jai Shri Shri Guru Gaurchand Giraj ki Jai. Mahaprasad ki Jai. Premanande.
And the Sarivas of Parikrama
Ki Jai. Oh, that's awesome. I saw the picture she brought it. That was fun.
She's
already here, right?
Where did she post
She
them?
posted them on Signal.
Oh, I didn't see them.
Thanks to everybody online that tuned in on this service.
Who's there?
I don't know, but for people that are there.
Rich and Hybrid Prabhu.
I'll be my Krishna Prabhu is there.
No.